Welcome to Royally Unfiltered, the show that takes you behind palace gates like never before. This is where tradition meets truth and nothing is off limits. This week, helping me tackle all the biggest headlines. They're on the nice list, by the way, not the naughty list, is former Sun's royal editor Charles Ray and former press secretary to the late Queen Elizabeth II and King Charles III, Dickie Arbiter. Thank you so much for kicking off the holidays with me. After this, I think that I'm just going to live in pajama pants for 2 weeks, and there's no greater way to go out than looking at your handsome faces.
Yeah, but isn't that what Americans do? Live in pajamas over the holiday season?
Yeah, that's it's true. It's true. We are pathetic. We don't maybe a cute Christmas jumper like the one that Charles is wearing. I
It's
love.
a
Oh my
great,
gosh, is that
it's a great,
Chewbacca?
It certainly is.
it's a great honor to be here because I thought we'd wished you happy Christmas last week.
I couldn't get
Yes.
enough of you. I just could not get enough of you. Well, let's stay in the Christmas spirit because we saw it. I wake up today and I'm like pleasantly surprised to see the most gorgeous photo of the Prince and Princess of Wales and their family. Now, this photo was taken in April by Josh Shiner, and they captioned the image on Instagram. And I imagine it's the inside of their car too, wishing everyone a very happy Christmas. I think what stands out to most of us is Louis's precious toothless grin. Um, how gorgeous is this family? And I know, to me, it's just such a little blessing that we see them occasionally, Dickie, that we get to see these great photographs of them because we're invested in these babies. We want them to have a happy, healthy upbringing, and it seems like they really are.
Well, they are having a healthy, happy upbringing, and unlike William and his brother, and unlike William's father, because his dad and his sister and his dad's sister, they had a very difficult childhood because their mother was thrust onto the throne. She went away for 6 months after the coronation, and they were very young, and they didn't see her. So it was pretty tough for them in their childhood. So now William, with divorced parents, is also feeling that he should give his children something that he never had, and he's doing just that. And with the help of Catherine, it's a very healthy, happy family.
Charles, it is nice to actually see the children's faces.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm heading into Harry and Meghan territory a little too early here, but there is just something so sweet about watching the evolution, watching these children grow older and mature, lose teeth. It just makes us more invested in the Wales family. It makes us root for them.
I think you're absolutely right, and it just goes to show that you can control the access, if you like, to the children. And I'm not suggesting that we should have permanent access, but these sort of cards, these Christmas, these birthday photographs that we occasionally see of the children, particularly William and Catherine. Well, we are talking about William and Catherine's children. Are lovely. I mean, you mentioned the toothless grin. I loved the cat, the little princess with her head on William's shoulder, Charlotte, and I nearly forgot her name. Why should I forget Charlotte's name? So,
It's your
yeah,
age.
yes, you're right, Dickie. It is definitely my age. So you see those sort of things, and you compare it then. I mean, with the gruesome twosome in Montecito, I don't actually I still don't think we've actually seen anything or really nice pictures of the children. And I'm not suggesting that we should be seeing pictures of them every day and everything else. They deserve the children, so therefore they should stay as children for as long as possible. But when you see the Waleses and how they react to it all, it's as Dickie says, complete contrast to what it was like for the late Queen and Prince Philip, and their children, particularly Charles and Anne.
Dickie, I know that it's probably not very popular to say this during this reign, but some of my favorite Christmas cards are actually Diana and Charles. There is like one where she's wearing riding boots and she's sitting and he's standing and the boys are around her. Diana really took the Christmas cards to another level. It was like an event. And in my opinion, when I look at some of those Christmas cards, I think, oh, she schemed. She thought about this photo for months. I love their old Christmas cards.
It's a terrific Christmas card. I remember it well. I remember it being taken, and Diana is in a very large chair, sort of slightly lounging back with her legs slightly forward in riding boots. No, it was a terrific picture. The Christmas theme for them as a family in the early days meant a lot, because it was the one time when they and their children could be seen together. They didn't take their children out. Yes, Diana took William to Australia when they did their Australian tour in 1983, but we didn't see a lot of the children at any one time. So the Christmas card was very special when we did see them together. I remember seeing them together when William did his first photo call. I think it was on his second birthday, and he was in the walled garden, and he went up to a camera looking straight down the lens of the camera, and we were all there. I was reporting at the time, and it was a very cute setting, but it was also a very cold, miserable day, which is not unusual for June anyway. But to see this in contrast to the days when William was growing up, well, it was as good as it could get in the Christmas cards in those days, because Charles and Diana were working royals. William and Catherine are working royals, but I don't think to the greater extent that William's parents were working.
And Charles, do you see any of, do you think that Catherine's concepts are unique when it comes to the current working royals? When you look at the King's Christmas card, and when you look at maybe, even Princess Anne, who so sweetly signs hers just Anne, no pomp, no drama. Do you think that Catherine has a great eye because of that photography background? Do you think that her Christmas cards are maybe warmer or a little bit more unique because of that? This is a skill and a personal passion of hers.
Well, I think she probably had an input into it, but you can't take any of the credit away from the photographer. He's captured a nice moment, with them. I mean, realistically, Catherine, William, and the children have just got to sit there, look, great smiles. I mean, they could be wearing sackcloth and ashes, and it'd still be a great Christmas card. Let's be honest about it. I mean, that's what they used to say about Diana, when people were not criticizing, but when people were lauding her about her outfits and everything else, she could come in a black plastic bag and still look $1 million. And it's the same with the Waleses. I mean, they just look great. They are a very, very handsome family.
They are. They are so gorgeous and sweet. I wish I would have grabbed more details about what King Charles was doing, but I just opened my Instagram app, saw him making a beer, saw him saying something to the effect of, "Oh, I should try that." But it's so sweet and fun to see the king out and about, especially with a Guinness in his hand. Dickie, we haven't discussed this beautiful moment we got from the king last week. I imagine that you were in the same position that I was, where you're getting text from people that are nervous, because we're hearing that we're going to hear a speech from the king about his cancer, and everybody assumes the worst. But you turn on Stand Up to Cancer, and it's actually a really positive message. Dickie, can you walk me through a little bit of what the king revealed and what his objective was in talking to us about his personal journey and his fight with cancer?
Well, it was brilliantly presented. Nobody could have done any better. And coming from him with a cancer, what was rather interesting, Buckingham Palace and the king has got to take credit for this. They played very, very closely in the whole idea. Yes, he did have a cancer, but they didn't reveal what the cancer was. And for a very good reason, being that if they had revealed what sort of cancer he had, the focus of attention would have been on that type of cancer, and everything else might well have been ignored. But instead, he said that he had a cancer, and it was all embracing of the whole sort of layout of the disease, because it comes in so many different forms. So he was generalizing so that nobody really fell off the list in terms of cancer. And he was really promoting the idea that people really should get screened. If the opportunity is there for you to have a screening, you should take it. Don't ignore it, because ignoring it, it will be too late. Catching it right at the very beginning, he gave examples that if you catch it right at the very beginning, 90% won't necessarily be cured, but the disease will be arrested. If you leave it, only 10%, and that 90% will be in a position where it is going to be very difficult to arrest the disease. And his message really was, if you feel that you have a problem, it doesn't matter whether you're sure or not sure, go and have a screening. It is vitally important to you, important to the family, and important to the system that is actually running the screening process. Because the last thing they want is to be inundated with so many cases that they can't cope. Screening is important. Go and get a screening. And I'm going to be personal. Have you been screened?
I have. I do. I mean, I have. That is something that I have taken away from the the King and the Prince and Princess of Wales in the last 2 years. They are a year or so. Just watching their journey has been. I mean, you think it can't. They say it can happen to anyone, but then when it happens to people that are so prominent, it really does, shake you to your core, and you realize it can happen to anyone. So don't be a statistic.
And if they can do something about it, then we as mere mortals can do something about it and not ignore it. And that's the message he was sending out.
This is one of my favorite products. This holiday, while others are chasing the rush, find your sense of calm with Peak. Peak is a luxury wellness brand powered by rare plants and cutting-edge ingredients, offering the perfect remedy for the season's hustle and bustle. Their science-backed botanicals, minerals, and vitamins support metabolic function, immune health, sustained energy, and radiant skin. In this festive season, choose serenity as the ultimate luxury with Peak. One of their newest essentials, the Deep Hydration Protocol, is a day-to-night electrolyte system that keeps your body and skin hydrated while promoting better sleep. Enjoy a focus boost without jitters or crash. The natural balance of caffeine and calming compounds keep you centered and alert all day long. Nutrients in their matcha help curb sugar and hunger cravings, making it easier to stick to your wellness goals. Now, I have been using the Deep Hydration Protocol every night for the past 2 months, and my skin has never looked so plump and dewy. I wake up looking and feeling like I got enough sleep. Ready to gift the glow? Unlock 20% off for life for yourself and everyone on your list. Give the gift of glowing health this holiday season. Get started at peaklife.com/Kinsey. That's PIQUE life.com/Kinsey. Charles, were you surprised to see the king speak this way about his health? It's not something we would necessarily expect from Queen Elizabeth, and that's not an insult to her, but it does seem like the king's a little bit more vulnerable.
I suppose he is a little bit more vulnerable, but I mean, we are moving on a little bit. This is a slightly more open monarchy, and as Dickie says, he's not revealed what type of cancer he's had, and there's no reason why he should. But the fact that he's spoken the way he has very, very bravely, and I just checked just before I came on with you, that since that speech he made, that 100,000 people in the UK contacted Cancer Screening UK to talk about the possibility of getting screened. Now, obviously, they can't all turn up at the same time, but I mean, this shows the impact that he had with that speech. That people like you've just mentioned, thought, hang on a second, I bet it'd be a good idea if they have a look just to make absolutely sure, and that's fantastic. And this is where the value of the royals really lies. If you look at all the stuff that they do, all the charities that they're involved in, that they help those charities not only to raise money, badly needed cash that they need, but it also jogs people's memory that maybe they should check on their own health and, live a better and healthier life.
Absolutely. I did think that I was so happy that it's turned, because I was sending some of those messages back to my friends like, oh no, I mean, I thought I saw him in October. I thought he looked really well. But there are the nasty naysayers on the internet that spread rumors, spread really ugly things about the king's current situation. And, I was worried in the hours leading up to that speech. So to hear him say, look, I've been aggressive about this. I was screened early. I found it early. I've been aggressive about this, and I can actually spend more time with you, more time at work, more time shaking hands and working on these causes that are so meaningful to me, and less time in treatment. I thought that it was a great blessing to hear that. Did so, Dickie, were you not frightened at all when you initially heard that he was going to be speaking about his cancer?
No, I wasn't frightened at all because he'd been out during the course of the week and didn't show any signs
Yeah.
of being affected by the cancer treatment. It was certainly good news that he let everybody know that his treatment was being not downgraded, but he wasn't having as much treatment during the course of a week as he has been having over the past 20 months or so. So that is good news, and very, quite frankly, sending out a very clear message. As I said a moment ago, if I can do it, then you can do it as well. And you were trying to draw a comparison between Queen Elizabeth II, his mother, not revealing anything other than she had mobility issues. Different generation. They didn't talk about illnesses. Very, very occasionally, if she went into hospital on one occasion, it was they said that she went in for observation after having a sort of gastric attack, and to check the liquid levels. So it was a different generation. They didn't talk about illness, as Prince Philip used to say. They just got on with it. With Charles, very important. He is head of state, and as head of state, he made a statement that he had a cancer. Catherine revealed that she had a cancer as well. And as Charlie said a moment ago, as a result of Friday's TV address, 100,000 people had made application for a screening. So that's good news for those that are developing treatment for cancer. And it's obviously going to be good news for people who are going to be screened, because they're going to know whether they do have something or they don't.
Charles, you both actually worked Dickie, were a journalist before you went into the palace. Charles, you're a journalist.
Once a journalist, always a journalist.
Always a journalist. It is
Charlie's retired, but he's still a journalist.
It is kind of delicious that all of these people that are reporting like that things are going south have now just shut up. Like, they don't even come back and say, we were wrong about the report we made 2 days ago or 3 days ago. They'll spend 30 minutes dissecting this lie. And then there's the king going, everything's actually heading in the right direction. I feel really positive. I mean, I know that wasn't the king's intention, but I kind of sit back and love it that he's humbled these idiots that are spreading malicious information on the internet.
I think that's one of the things you have to be very, very careful of, particularly with Twitter, Facebook, or whatever other social media people use. That you've got to watch what's being said and where it's coming from. And if you can't really place the source, when I say that, a reliable news organization, then you should ignore it. You should ignore it completely. And I also believe as well that this AI, it may have some very, very good points going along, but to be perfectly honest, I don't want to have anything to do with it. I think it's quite dangerous. Some of the things that I've seen on social media, not just with the royal family, but other things as well. It can be extremely dangerous with the way they make what they call now memes. They make things up.
My mom has sent me in the last few days like 4 videos, and I have to reply, Mom, that's AI. And they're innocent. They're like a dog. It's like a man talking about what it means when a dog's affectionate towards you. But I'm like, Mom, this is not a real human being. It is really scary.
But the point is, if we can spot it. Dickie, I'm sure, can spot it as well. But the problem is, you've got a whole range of teenagers and everything else who are relying on these sort of organizations for getting their news. And it's rubbish. And I keep telling my grandchildren, look, forget about TikTok, forget about what you see on these things. Just look at proper news organizations. Even if you're looking them online, look at proper news organizations and you'll see what is going on.
That's good advice. Dickie, did you want to weigh in on the AI drama at all? Because he has a really good point. We see a lot of the royal family on social media, so people might get caught off guard. People might not realize that what they're watching is not legitimate because they are used to seeing King Charles on Instagram.
I think Charlie's made a very good point about AI. It's sort of old story. Don't believe everything you see, and certainly don't believe everything you see on social media. I mean, I've said it time and time again. X is a cesspit, and it encourages people to ply their wares on social media. And unfortunately, there are generations who only get their news from social media, or as Charlie said, from TikTok, which is very unfortunate because it is rabbit stuff that's being put up. And you shouldn't believe it. You should get news from reputable organizations. Look, newspapers aren't always right. Television isn't always right. But at least they are making an attempt to get it right. Social media, it doesn't matter. As long as it's not libelous, as long as it's not criminal, they'll put anything up. And as soon as somebody does something about it, I don't know what you do. I mean, Australia has banned it for children under 16, which is a step in the right direction, but they're going to get it one way or another anyway. So it is a dangerous weapon at the moment, and how governments are going to combat it, it's gone too far. And I doubt whether they'll be able to arrest anything in terms of social media. That is where young people are going, and that's where they'll continue to go.
Yeah, I've seen a ton of AI videos of Queen Elizabeth rapping and dancing, and I'm like, it's not even funny. Why does it exist?
Yeah.
And it does kind of concern you that people have the freedom to do that with your image, especially when the Queen worked so hard to live such a clean life, and then to see that kind of stuff. It's concerning, but we just have to, I guess we're just going to have to sit back and wait and see how the laws evolve and what happens there. But way to bring up an interesting point, Charles. You're going to hate this next topic because you and I went head to head on The Sun about this. So Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie attended King Charles's Christmas lunch together this week. The royal family event was held at Buckingham Palace. We also saw the Prince and Princess of Wales and their gorgeous kids roll up. Now, the royalist writes, the king just showed us his blind spot is still ex-Prince Andrew. Charles may believe he's showing compassion by embracing Andrew's daughters, but many Britons see a monarchy that still doesn't get it. Now, obviously, you're kicking back there, but do you understand that the argument is maybe the whole Prince Andrew crew should lay low for a little while and allow time to heal kind of the wounds and the chaos? Does it just thrust the scandal back in everyone's faces when we see the girls attached to the family?
Well, I'm very much believe that you cannot visit the alleged sins of the father onto his children, to be perfectly honest. And I see no reason why Beatrice and Eugenie should be expelled from the royal family because of what mum and dad may have got up to with Jeffrey Epstein. But I would caution certainly Princess Beatrice on her recent trip to Saudi Arabia, which smacks of the same sort of trip that the now Andrew Mountbatten Windsor used to make quite regularly over there. And, there were some unsavory dealings going on at that time. I may as well say alleged unsavory dealings, which, contributed to his downfall partially. But I think it's right that Beatrice and Eugenie are still part of the family if they want to be. And I don't think that the king is showing any reluctance in causing his brother any grief. I mean, his brother's now banned from family events. There is not much more he can do. I mean, they were having, a fabulous lunch at Buckingham Palace. He was out riding a horse, on a rainy day, whereas before, he had probably been one of the lives and souls of the party, and he's now going to be moving, to some sort of cottage, in the distance of Sandringham somewhere, and that is exile. I mean, there's not much more you can do to the guy, and I'm not suggesting I'm not making a case out for Andrew. He brought everything on himself, and he deserves everything that happens to him. But I don't agree with anybody who says that you should seek retribution on the two girls.
Dickie,
I'm inclined to agree with Charlie on that one. I'm reminded in 1978 when Marie Christine married Prince Michael of Kent, the newspapers dug up the fact that her father was a member of the Nazi Party. And she made it very clear that she should not be held accountable for the sins of her fathers. And Charlie made exactly the same point, that Beatrice and Eugenie should not be held accountable for the sins of their parents, which is absolutely right. And they should not be ostracized by the family. They've done nothing wrong. They just happen to be the daughters of two very stupid people.
Wow. Well, from
Fair
a
enough.
PR perspective, Dickie, do you not look at, I mean, there are still there were Epstein files dropped today, new images dropped today. Do you not understand why some people might look at the optics and go, just keep your distance for a little while? Because with the files continuing to be dropped and the story continuing to evolve, their presence might remind people of it, instead of everybody just thinking, oh, look at the sweet royal family enjoying their Christmas lunch at Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, this is one of the problems. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Yes, more is being released. The story's never going to go away. It's going to be there and going on and on and on. And the girls have got to make a decision. Do they take part in family events or don't they? Now, the likelihood is that they won't be there at Sandringham for Christmas. They'll be doing their own Christmas. Eugenie lives in Portugal, and Beatrice lives in the Cotswolds. And I think she's probably got her mother with her as well. So it'll be a bit of a family knees up in the Cotswolds. So the likelihood of the two girls being at Sandringham is pretty much zero. But I don't think they should be ostracized because of the sins of their parents. They are, after all, part of the family. They are young. They've got a whole life ahead of them. And to start dropping them now when they haven't actually done anything wrong, they just had the wrong parents and been drawn in with them. And, children will love their parents irrespective of what they've done. But there is probably
unless you're Prince Harry, and then you have a chip on your shoulder.
Unless you're Prince Harry with not just a chip, a whole damn forest on their shoulder. But they do love their parents. They realize their parents have been pretty stupid, but they're not going to distance themselves from their parents. They're probably going to find it very difficult to visit, very difficult to be in their company, given everything that has happened, given the fact that the parents have lost absolutely everything. So let's not take it out on the girls. Let's give them a bit of a chance. And that's what the king is doing.
It's the Christmas spirit, Dickie. That's the Christmas spirit. All right.
Goodwill towards man.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about today's sponsor. A fresh start is possible. You may be carrying around the same debt month after month, watching it get worse, but that only continues if nothing changes. PDS Debt has already helped hundreds of thousands of people rewrite their financial story and take control. Your turn starts now. Whether you're struggling with credit cards, personal loans, or medical bills, PDS Debt offers custom options to help you get out of debt. They go beyond the numbers to understand your unique situation and build a personalized plan just for you. There's no minimum credit score required, and their mission is simple: help you save more, pay off debt faster, and finally put money back where it belongs, your pocket. PDS Debt is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, has thousands of 5-star Google reviews, and holds a 5-star rating on Trustpilot because their program works. And every month you wait costs you more in interest and fees. The best time to start? Well, technically it was yesterday. The second best is right now. This is the debt solution I would recommend to friends and family. Don't wait another month. Change your story in 30 seconds. Get your free personalized assessment and the best option for you at pdsdebt.com/Kinsey. That's pdsdebt.com/Kinsey, pdsdebt.com/Kinsey. I don't even know where to go with this one, gentlemen. Prince Harry describes Archie as my little African child. This is Tina Brown talking to Katie Couric. And she tells Couric, Jane Goodall, before she died, I had lunch with her. And she said that she was one of the only people outside the family that went to see Archie when he was born. And Harry said, this is my little African child. It's going to be my child who essentially, wild child. Essentially, they were going to have this time together, living a life off the grid, as it were. She said she was absolutely stunned when he chose the life that he did. Charles, what are we supposed to do with this information?
I really haven't got a clue. When I first saw this, I thought I had to read it 3 times to actually understand what the hell he was going on about, to be perfectly honest. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that lower down in the original story, it mentions that after, I think Meghan took a DNA and found that she was 43% Nigerian, which means that, little Archie, if he's got any Nigerian in him, then he's white Anglo-Saxon in effect. I don't understand what he's talking about. Now, the unfortunate thing is nobody can actually ask Jane Goodall now what was actually said and what the context of it all was, because unfortunately she has passed away. So we're now left with Tina Brown recounting this story to, a podcast. I'm just flabbergasted by it. I mean, there are not many things that I now understand what Meghan and Harry are now doing, and this just really adds to that list. I just don't understand it.
Dickie, it feels like I just don't want, I don't look at people and I don't judge people by their skin color, or you know what I mean? First of all, from what we've seen of the back of Archie's head, he's whiter than white, but I just don't look at people and identify people that way. Does Harry? And it seems like he does, based on my only judgment is Spare and the Oprah interview.
Well, if you go back even further, Harry being talking during the time he was in the army, he referred to a Pakistani colleague as my little friend. So there are doubts there in the way he actually thinks, and that was unforgivable. So to say my little African wild child, um, it's actually labeling all African children as being wild. Harry tends to put his foot in his mouth. His mouth engages before his brain engages, and out come these silly things. Charlie was absolutely right. There's no way of checking because Jane Goodall passed a while back. Is Tina Brown coming up with the truth, or is she just sensationalizing something that might have passed in conversation? It might not, but maybe she's got a book to sell, so it sounds pretty good.
I mean, I was shocked by this. We're going to stay on the Prince Harry train as we wrap, because it is the holiday season here. Around this time every year, I feel like Harry does play Aspen Polo. I think he's got a really great relationship with the Aspen Polo team. And I saw a video of him on Instagram. One of my friends was playing with him in Aspen. He is back in his zen. He loves the game. Charles, are you happy to see him pursuing something that he loves, knowing that this is one of a rare moment where we're actually seeing Harry participate in something he did before he got married, not Harry on a surfboard?
I have no problem with it at all in any shape or form. This trip to Aspen has combined two of his passions, which is skiing and polo. The skiing part he did beforehand, and then he took part in this polo match. I'm not sure whether it was a polo. I know it's polo championship, so I don't think it's a particularly charity organized thing, because the last polo games he was involved in, it was for Centabali, his African charity, which of course he's now resigned from. So, I've got no problems at all with Harry enjoying his passion for skiing and for polo. Best of luck to him. I just hope he wins.
Dickie, I have a little gossip for you from my friend who's playing with him there. Basically, his friends that have been friends with him for years through the polo circuit were so relieved, he tells me, that Meghan wasn't there, because they said Meghan's kind of allergic to fun. And when she's not there, they get the real Harry. And Harry's silly and fun and outgoing. But when she's there, he's on, it's like he's on thin ice. Does that
I was
surprise you at all?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all. I was actually going to reiterate what Charlie was saying. Harry playing polo and skiing, he's really in his comfort zone. And when he's on his own, he's a different person altogether. We saw that earlier in the autumn when he came over to the UK to do a few engagements on behalf of his charities, he was the old Harry because she wasn't there. She puts a dampener on him. She dominates him. And I think he's frightened of her, that he's not going to do anything that might upset her. No, not might upset her, upstage her. Because the last thing she wants is to be upstaged by Harry. She's got Harry's name. She's got Harry's title. So she should give ground a bit. But Harry's going to have a lot of fun at Aspen. It's tough playing polo in snow. It's tough playing polo anyway, but even tougher on slippery ground. So good luck to him. I hope he has a lot of fun because he really is in his comfort zone. Make the most of it, Harry, because soon you'll be back in Montecito and back to the old grind or grinder.
Yeah. Charles, speaking of having to get back to work, there are predictions here in the States that Prince Harry, between the Hilton, his Toronto Hilton gig last month or this month, I don't know how many weeks ago it was, and he did another event for, he did a holiday party here and spoke at the holiday party and had like a little stand-up, routine that he did, joking about Downton Abbey and the royal family and how the royals are much more entertaining or scandalous than Downton Abbey. There's a theme here that this guy is going to become basically a rent-a-prince. Want him for your bar mitzvah in Hollywood? Here's the price tag. What do you think about the rent-a-prince path in 2026 for Harry? Do you think that that's an option for him? And is it a good option for him? Is it fine?
I think it's about the only option for him now, to be perfectly honest, because I certainly believe that he cannot ever come back as a working member of the royal family, even if Meghan decides, which I still believe will never happen, to come back to Britain in any shape or form. So he's got to do something. He can't just sit at home on a PlayStation or do, mundane things. He's got to be out there. And as Dickie says, he's got these charities, and he's great at it. I mean, you can't take it away from him. He's absolutely sensational. Like other members of the royal family with their own charities, they put their hearts and souls into it. It's just after the charity bit, what else does he do? Does he do another Spare? Does he go on to another Oprah Winfrey? Does he do the things that he's supposed to do? And you mentioned, a renter royal. Well, yes, he's a renter second class royal. It's that's the way life is for him now. And it's a great pity because I've always firmly believed that Harry was one of the cornerstones, or should have been one of the cornerstones of a modern royal family. And Diana always wanted him, and she said this on a number of occasions. She always wanted him to be William's wingman when William became king, and that is never going to happen. And it's a great, great pity.
Well, Dickie, to Charles's point, there are stories circulating on the Royalists today that the reason that Netflix continues to engage in Harry and Meghan is because Harry and Meghan are dangling the Diana documentary carrot over them and might produce a 30-year anniversary of her death documentary for Netflix. Netflix loves Diana, The Crown, the Diana musical on Broadway that they produced for television there. Do you think we'll get the video of Meghan with her feet propped up in Paris passing the tunnel in their Diana documentary for Netflix, or do you think that that'll make the cutting room floor?
I think it'll make the cutting room floor, quite frankly, because Meghan hasn't got the talent to really talk about Diana. She didn't know Diana, and Harry was 12, going on 13 when Diana died, so he didn't have all those years with her. Yes, he had the fun times when they went to the theme parks. They had the fun times when they went to the hamburger joints and the superstores and the cinema. But Harry was too young when Diana died, so he really doesn't know enough about his mother. Meghan knows even less about Diana, although might pretend to know a bit about her. It would be a wrong move for either of them to commit themselves to doing a documentary on Diana about a person that they don't know. Meghan never saw her, never saw how she operated, and it would just be a wrong move. I suppose Netflix think it's a good idea to have Harry and Meghan on board. I think it's a pretty rotten idea, and I think Charlie will agree with me.
I do agree with you,
Wait,
and
but Charles, also answer this. Do you think that it would ruffle feathers with poor Prince William too?
well, there's no question about ruffling feathers. I mean, the whole turkey farm would be completely ruffled with everything with everything that's going on. And for this documentary, Dickie's point about their knowledge of Diana, Meghan never met her. Harry was 12. Yes, he remembers his mother as he should. But who's he going to do? What's he going to do for the documentary? He's going to have to go to the people, if it happens, who actually knew the Princess of Wales, knew what went on, and all he's going to do is open up old wounds that are unnecessary to be opened up again, and it's only going to end up being hurtful to William, and the rest of the family. I think it's like Dickie. I think it's a very bad idea. But who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what they're going to do for money?
Oh,
It's
what a
it's a
terrible sentence because it's so true. Like, ooh. Did either one of you want to share your predictions with me for 2026? I'm already planning my outfit for Trooping the Color. I'm excited for 2026 in the royal space. What are you thinking that we might see next year from the royal family, Dickie?
I think we'll see much of the same. We'll see Charles probably doing more abroad. There is a lot of talk, certainly in the media, that he will make a trip to the United States to celebrate its 250th anniversary of independence. Bit rich, isn't it? Our king celebrating your independence that you nicked from another one of our kings. But there you go. But yes, there is talk that he will be a guest of the president. I wouldn't be surprised if the president issued an invitation when he was here in September, but it's been kept under wraps given Charles's treatment for cancer and how he will be at the time. There's also been a lot of talk about William and Catherine going to the States also to celebrate the 250th anniversary at some later stage. My guess is that if they did go, they would probably go sometime in July during school holidays so that they could take the children with them as well, because it would be an historic occasion and something of history that the children shouldn't miss and should join in with their parents. But all that is up in the air at the moment. There's nothing hard and firm about any trips abroad next year. We have to take each month, each day as it comes, given that the king, while having his cancer treatment reduced, will still be having cancer treatment. Catherine is in remission, and she is making slow progress back onto royal duty. And we just have to wait and see of how all that pans out in the first half of the year.
Charles, do you suspect that the Prince and Princess of Wales will continue to blossom in their roles and win the public's hearts and minds?
Well, I don't know how much more they can win. I think they've got 110% already. So, it's going to be hard to increase on that. But Dickie's point about the King and William going to America at separate times, I think the big questions will be around, if they're in America, will they meet up somewhere, with Harry and Meghan? I mean, all I'm saying is that those questions will be posed. There is
You're
no
right.
doubt.
You're
There's
right.
no,
They're
no
already being
question.
asked here.
Yeah, those questions will be posed. There's no doubt about that. And flying in from California to um, you know, um, to New York or Washington,
Five
it's
hours.
it's 5 hours. It's not that far away. And I'm looking forward to seeing George, who'll be, a teenager next year. So
Gosh,
we'll get
that's
another nice
right.
so we'll get another nice picture of George somewhere along the line. So that's great. I want them to keep their childhood for as long as possible, and not follow some of the mistakes that have been made in the past. And I think the big things is in America, and as Dickie said, it's a bit ironic you've kicked out our king. I mean, mind you, George III was as mad as a March hare, but that's beside the point.
I'd like to
I
make
didn't do it. I wouldn't have done it. Clearly, I'm
I'd
on
like to
Team Royal.
I'd like to make one more point about next year. There's also the likelihood, Again, it has to be confirmed that William and Catherine will go to Australia, because there's a trip down under is long overdue, and certainly following the successful trip by the King and Queen last year, a trip by the Waleses will be very much on the cards and very much appreciated by all those down under.
All right. Well, agree with us, disagree with us. Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. I think that Charles's Chewbacca shirt says it all. We wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Happy Christmas, as they say in the UK. Or how would Chewie say it? It would be like that. Is that how Chewie would say it?
I'm not even going to attempt that. I mean,
Okay.
my voice will die.
You,
But Merry Christmas to you, Kinsey, and all your viewers. I mean, it's been fantastic talking to you.
Thank you,
and
sir.
all you Americans, you say Happy Holidays. So Happy Holidays, but we'll use it our phrase, and we say Happy Christmas. Have a fabulous 2026.
Thank you, and Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends as well. All right, thank you so much for watching. We will see you again very soon. Bye, everyone.